Alright, so I'm gearing up for my next camp out. I'm leaving tomorrow sometime between morning to afternoon, and I'm just trying to plan on what I'm going to bring with me. So I'm thinking through what I used last time, and a couple of my thoughts I had was a mess kit, because I know I didn't use all of that, and then my sleeping bag. This one I brought last time. It's a 10-degree bag, and the weather's been warming up, so I was super warm because it got down to like 50, and it's probably going to get down to about 50 again, but recently I've been sleeping hot, so I'm not going to be too worried about the sleeping bag. And I'm thinking I'm going to backpack in or hike in a little bit this time rather than staying at the car, so I'm going to cut some weight and some space in the bag. So I'm leaving the 10-degree bag at home, and I'm also going to leave the sleeping pad at home because I don't plan on sleeping on the ground this time. I'm going to bring my 50-degree bag, and this thing is tiny. It packs down to about the size of an Nalgene bottle. It's like really tiny. I've had it even smaller than that if you just really cinch down on the straps. And it keeps me, I've had it down to 30, 40 degrees and been hot with it unzipped and down to like 20 just with just this bag. That's not been a problem. So that's my go-to that I'm going to take tomorrow. And then my mess kit. I did not use like any of this on my last trip. It comes in a bag. This is kind of a two-person mess kit. It's got 2 full sets of silverware, which I brought both of them. 2 plates, which were also here with me. 2 cups, and a whole kettle. And all of those just stayed in the bag in the truck. And since I was car camping, it wasn't the biggest deal. And then it has a frying pan with a little rag. And this is the one thing I did use. And of course I used it for my other set just because that's what I was using at the time, but just the pot. I believe it's about a 2-quart pot. And that's the only thing I use from the mess kit, so that's the only thing I'm going to bring, except maybe I'll bring the little fork from one of these guys. Unless I can go find a spork somewhere else in the house. Just folds. It's one of these nice little stamped sporks or forks. I'll probably leave that at home. I might just bring a different fork that I have. Save on a little. No, I'll bring it. I'm gonna bring just the fork out of this. Alright, and then I'm 50-50 on if I'm going to bring this bag or not. One thing that I loved with my camping out of the car was this Dutch oven, because this is my go-to cook system anytime I want to cook. I've been cooking pretty much the whole week outside in one of my larger Dutch ovens just in my backyard, cooking off of firewood. And this one I bought so I can go on smaller trips with me or me and one other person. And I went ahead, I put this custom handle on here. And I cooked dinner in this last time and absolutely loved it. But it is very heavy. So I'm going to feel out the bag, and then I'm going to come back and decide if I want to take this depending on how much my bag weighs with everything else in it. And I'm going to use the empty space in my pot now that I don't have all the extra random gear to store other things. Such as my bear rope. Since I'm going to be away from the car, I can't lock my food in the car. And this is my rope that I chuck up over a tree, and I keep my food in a dry bag so I can just clip it to this little loop. And I'm good to go. I'm also going to throw my fire kit in there, which last time I had 3 lighters, 2 boxes of matches, and this little flint striker, which I decided to trim that down. I just kept the mini little lighter, 1 box of matches, and a flint striker because I want to have 3 methods of starting a fire, and I got a little bit of jute twine as fire tinder, and that's going to go in there as well as my fork. And that's going to be my cook system, and I think I'm going to leave this at home. Just cook on the coals if I have to. And last time I brought my Climate Static V sleep pad, and with how tall I am, this is kind of pushing it on some of my height. I believe it's 72 inches, and I am 6'3", so I'm 75 long. So without my pillow, I'm too long for this anyway, but I'm gonna leave it at home because I'm swapping it out for a new piece of gear. Well, an old piece of gear plus a new piece of gear. I bought this hammock a couple years ago at Winco of all places, while I was grocery shopping with my sister. It was like 13 bucks, great deal, so I went ahead and picked it up. And then while I was at Walmart today, they finally had hammock straps, because this came with ropes. It's very similar to like the rope that they attach to the end, and it just came with a couple feet of that you could hook your sleeping bag with. But they had hammock straps. These are 9 feet apiece with tons of loops, and they just roll up real nice, making it easy to hang my hammock wherever I go, even if the trees are a little bit extra far apart or not far or too close. There's a lot of adjustment points, and it'll be a lot more secure versus me tying a knot, because I've noticed occasionally my knots slip and I fall on the ground, and that's not as fun. So I'm going to bring that, and then I'm going to pack this up real quick. I'll show you. And as you can see back there, I hang all my sleeping bags. Over time, if you have them compressed in this pouch, all the insulation material just gets packed and packed and packed, and it wears out your sleeping bags. I'm going to pack this bad boy up. And from what I could tell, there shouldn't be rain, but I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to plan this if there will be rain, because it will be wet. It's going to rain tomorrow morning before I get out there, and then once I'm out there it should be done raining, but all the firewood's going to be wet. And a lot of the trees are going to be wet. So as I hang my hammock, I'm trying to decide if I want to put up a tarp. I might also put up a tarp just to help keep me a little warmer and block some of the wind. So that's just in the stuff sack, completely uncompressed. This is my favorite sleeping bag. I take this on road trips if I'm ever just like spending the night at somebody's house. Like I stayed the night at my friend's dorm, and this is my go-to to bring. I just sleep with this on the couch or wherever we go. Or to the family reunion, I always sleep with this every year, because it's just so practical when I cinch it down real tight. This is how small it gets. It's the Ozark Trail Warm Weather Mummy Bag. I love it because of the height. It's 7'4" tall. And I've noticed a lot of their sleeping bags are 7'4". And that's one of the big selling points I have. I have some nicer sleeping bags. One of those sleeping bags back there or a couple of them are really nice 20-degree bags, but they're only 6 feet long. which means my head sticks out the top. And that makes them colder than even sometimes this one. So that's that packed. And I might be bringing stuff to maybe build a shelter depending on what I feel like. But this is my planned sleep system. So what I do at camp, I haven't 100% decided yet. If I So far, sleep system is hammock, sleeping bag, cook system is going to be my pot. And then I'm going to grab out of my coffee kit my stove and my propane tank. Unless I go to the store today and pick up a little butane tank. But the propane's a little cheaper at the moment. This is some fresh coffee. And in the background is the sound of the dehydrator. It's dehydrating beans right now. I did the rice last night, but I went ahead and cooked some beans and I'm drying them out so I can pack them in a little Ziploc bag and not have to bring ice or anything. Also, I had one thing pulled out that I forgot to put in my fire kit. And that is one of these tea light candles. They're super cheap. You can get a pack of 100 for $5 at Walmart right now, at least where I'm at. And a candle is sometimes a game changer if you're trying to start a fire and the wood's just a little damp or your tinder's wet or whatever happens. Means you need to hold a flame longer. These things burn for about 2 hours. I think that's what they're rated for. And I've had them burn longer sometimes. And until you can get a fire going, that gives you extra flame without having to burn all your lighter fuel or burn up all of your matches. And then I'm going to slap that in there. And I'm probably going to throw my fork inside my fire kit as well. Just to keep everything from rattling around. Okay, I just grabbed another few things from my bag that I put together. I grabbed my propane. I've had that since, I've been kicking that propane on every single trip. At least, using it at least once a week for probably 7 months. And that one thing of propane is still kicking. And then to go with my propane, I have my backpacking stove. This is I believe I got this stove at Walmart for like $20 before a backpacking trip, and it usually screws onto a little butane container, but I have a propane adapter, so that way I can use it with my green tank. It does make it a little bit bigger, but I think that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead, and that's going to go in my pot with my other stuff. And then what I decided about my sleep system, I don't need super fancy gear. So with my hammock, I don't want to worry about it raining or too much wind. So I just grabbed a tarp. This is $3.99 at Harbor Freight. It's, I believe, a 6x8 tarps, 5x7, might be 5x7. It's a fairly small tarp, but it's big enough that I could do an A-frame and it covers me like just barely, but I like to just rotate it and go from corner to corner when I hang it, and that'll go right up above my hammock, no problem whatsoever. And I guess with that I need some rope. because I gotta go look for it. Alright, so turns out the rope is exactly where I thought it would be. I just was very blind and never saw it. But this is a brand new hunk of rope, so I do got to make sure it's wrapped properly, because they love to wrap it all whack at the store. As you can see, it's already kind of alright. We're gonna go with the pink end, and it continues to be more tangled and more tangled, so alright, so you take, I like to tuck it in my watch so I know it's not going to get intermingled, and you wrap it in a crisscross pattern between your thumb and your pinky. And you do this so that way you don't get all the ends spun together like they do at the store. They'll all lay next to each other. This is what happens if you end up with them all stuck together. You just get big hunks of knot. It's just all sorts of messed up. And doing it now saves time at camp. Alright, so I'm just getting it towards the end. So I'm about to do my wraps. And this is where you want to make sure you do it properly, so that way you can pull out your rope properly. Now this is 100 feet of 550 cord. It's bright yellow. I got about 4 feet, 4.5 feet. And now this ends in my watch. You want to keep that end separate and do not cross that end with this other end, or else it gives you a chance of tangling. And naturally it wants to wrap this way, so we're just going to do that. We're going to follow its natural wrap pattern. And you can go ahead and go as tight as you want. But you want it to be at least snug. If you really want to crank it down, go ahead, but there's not really a purpose for doing that. Alright. And you want to make sure that none of your strands go underneath this tag end, because this tag end, your pull-out end, is going to make you have a lot more ease at camp. We're just going to go out the last 2 wraps. I'm going to stick my finger in here for these last 2. I'm going to come in here and just tuck it under. And then you just want to make sure you cinch it down with those last two. And if you can do more wraps, like get it under more, go ahead, get at least two though, or else it will probably come undone. And then when you get to camp and you're going to set this up, you take this tag end, the one that's loose and not looped under, and you just pull it out. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to redo 100 feet of rope. And then this end is not burnt, so I guess it's probably like 90 feet because I think I made a clothesline. So I'm just going to go ahead and burn it. Don't do what I just did. I just had hot plastic drip on the carpet. That's a fat end though. I might fix that later. I might keep it because I kind of like the fat end. There's our rope for our steep system. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I wanted to bring duct tape, but I was still concerned on space. So this is my fat lighter. It's a Bic lighter, I think it's red, and I wrapped, I don't even know how much duct tape this is, it's at least 10 feet of duct tape up at top, and then I wrapped electrical tape down at the bottom, make it the same thickness all the way around. And now I got plenty of electrical tape, plenty of duct tape, and it fits in the same profile as a fat lighter. So I'm going to swap that out in my fire kit. And then I'm moving on to cutting tools. So I guess it's definitely a step up on size from my mini Bic. But I don't mind too much so I can have my tape. Because I plan on hiking in this time. Go ahead. Throw that back down there. I'll put that mini Bic away. Alright, and then now we are on to cutting implements. Of course, I always have this bad boy on my belt. This is my Ozark Trail fixed blade knife. I've had this guy for probably 10 years. Cost me $5 back in the day. I've sharpened it up a few times, messed the blade up, had my friend sharpen it because I'm bad at sharpening. And it's sturdy. I've had no problems with it. It's the knife I would trust my life to because I put so many miles on that knife. But for cutting implements, I have a couple options here. I'm gonna have to process my own firewood. I'm not hiking in with firewood. So this is my hatchet. It's semi-custom. It was $12 at Harbor Freight for the base hatchet. I stripped down the handle and then I reprofiled the head. It took a lot of work. It's nice and sharp, and this is probably my favorite cutting implement, but it is 1 1/4 pound head plus the weight of the handle, which is fairly heavy. Plus on top of that, if I want to have a saw, I have to carry a saw separate. And I might bring a saw anyway, but we'll see. This is from Harbor Freight. It's a little folding saw. It's like $8. Very sharp, cuts very nice. They've actually been getting decent on their gear recently. I've done nothing to this because it just works. But here's my other option. Either I'll bring both of these, which this is 1 1/4 pounds plus the weight of the handle, so it's probably like almost 2 to 3 pounds. Plus my folding saw, which is like another ½ pound to a pound. Or, this is going to need some work. I've taken it on one trip as a backup last time I broke my axe handle on my other axe. And it is a Ozark Trail machete. The sheath is absolute garbage. It's a terrible sheath. but at least it's something. And I'll need to re-sharpen the blade before I go. But it has a saw blade on the back, and it's a decent cutting edge. It's not good by any means, but it's not terrible. So this is my other option. I might just bring this bad boy, save on weight. I wish I had a better sheath, but I don't, and I haven't made one yet, even though I want to. So I think I'm going to go with this one for this trip, just to save on weight when it comes to processing firewood, because I'm not planning on staying long. It's just going to be one night, so I don't need to do a lot of wood. I just need to do a little bit. And then, one other side note was I was thinking about bringing this bad boy. This is one of those tactical shovels. And it just screws down, cinches up. Now you have a shovel. The angle's kind of off on this bad boy, so it's a little weird. But now you also have little pick kind of vibe. And the reason I would bring this bad boy would be mostly to dig cat holes. I don't plan on doing a big construction project while I'm there, so I'll likely just leave this guy at home. Now on the note of construction project, my bundle of twine. Do I want to bring this bad boy? I usually bring a bundle of twine wherever I go, so I can do projects, build things. And I love twine because it is biodegradable. So sometimes when I'm out there, I'm building a shelter. If I don't do a perfect job cleaning up, it will break down. It'll break down quickly because it's just natural jute fibers. So this is my go-to. I'm going to set this aside because I might bring it, I might not. I'm going to decide as my pack comes together. It's so unfortunate. I was just swirling my coffee because I was getting down the last bit. I spilled it all over my shirt and my pants. So now I gotta go put a different shirt on. Alright. So I getting this put together. Got a new shirt on. I go over this. This is Sabre Frontiersman Max Bear Spray. And I'm going to be bringing bear spray because I don't know what animals are actually going to be out there. That's why I'm also hanging my food, because I'm not 100% sure. I know I have seen within a few miles of where I'm going, I've seen mountain lions, I've seen moose. I've never seen bear where I'm going, but I know they're out there because I've had friends who've hunted them. So I'm going to be bringing this. I probably won't need it, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So that's going to be extra weight I'm going to bring. And then a little propane cylinder. I think we're on the food. Alright, so one other thing is I'm bringing my chair, and I always bring my chair, so that's going to be coming with me. It's like 2 or 3 pounds. But it's the 2 or 3 pounds that keeps me comfortable. Because I know on an overnight trip, I could be cold, I could be hungry, or I could be uncomfortable. But if I have my chair, worst comes to worst, I sit under a tree, hike out in the morning, and call it good. And then we do need to plan food. So I do know I made these yesterday. They are homemade survival bars. I personally think they are very tasty. They've had mixed opinions. They were also called disgusting, so make a small batch, try it for yourself, let me know. And I'm going to be bringing these. They're shelf stable. There's 6 of them. They are 500 calories a piece, and they have, I believe, 19 grams of protein, 15 grams of protein. Whatever it is, it's a lot for a little 2-inch by 3-inch bar. So I'm going to be bringing these bad boys. Of course, I'm going to be bringing my coffee and my coffee creamer. I just get these at Maverick. I just grab them whenever I'm there. I just grab a handful of creamer if I'm getting a drink. I do at least buy something because I don't want to seem like I'm just going just for the coffee creamer. But that's really what I go for. Occasionally I'll get myself a frozen coffee, which is like a slushy. And then I do have a 1 tablespoon measuring cup. That's to measure my coffee creamer, or coffee grounds. I'm going to just throw that in the coffee bag. Well, probably not in the coffee bag. I'm going to just throw it in the French press. Another much needed piece of weight is the French press, by the way. So this is my French press, residential French press. Don't have one of the fancy camp ones yet, but I take that everywhere. It's glass, so I'm surprised it's not broken. And then I'm just going to drop this bad boy in here. That way I have that ready to go. And then I also do carry an actual mug. I am going to be bringing an actual mug. I usually carry this cup. This is my coffee cup that I heat water in, but since I'm cutting weight, I'm going to be leaving this at home because I'm bringing my other pot. So I got my coffee, French press, survival bars, and coffee creamer. This is also instant rice. I made this yesterday, and it's just regular rice that I cooked and then I dehydrated it so it rehydrates. I'm going to do that, and I have beans dehydrating right now that I'm going to be mixing with the rice, as well as I'm going to bring some potatoes, which are a classic. Alright, so for potatoes, these are kind of small potatoes, so I'm going to take a few of them because I need these bad boys for lunch. I need them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That was my potatoes, and then I think I'm going to grab some ramen noodles. Ramen noodles, potatoes. We should grab some sauce to go with the potatoes. So I'm taking honey mustard and ranch. These are 2 ranch from McDonald's, 2 honey mustard from McDonald's. I'll put those in a little bag too. Alright, so we got all that. All I have to do in the morning is grab the beans. So let's pack this so that way it's ready to go. I just picked these bad boys up. Came in a 3-pack today. And I believe it was $7.88. Which is not terrible. These are dry bags. And I always bring my food in a dry bag so I can hang it with these clips. It's Outdoor Products Ultimate Waterproof 3-pack dry sacks. So 2 liters, 4 liters, and 10 liters. Probably the 4-liter one for my food. And if you are going on a multi-day backpacking trip, separate your meals into individual Ziploc bags instead. It's way easier just to keep track of what you are eating for one day and don't eat all of your food over the course of a day or two and then have 3 days left with absolutely nothing to eat. That's just a word of advice. I have outpaced my eating before. I'll roll this that way up a little bit more because it's getting pretty close to empty. Alright, so I guess I have just enough room for just my beans tomorrow, it seems. So, cut this a little different, I might go down a little bit better. Now I'll swap out for the bigger bag, but I don't really want to double more than just that on my food. That's another reason why I suggest combining or doing your food in gallon bags. Is 1 gallon bag per day. I'm going for 1 night, which is 2 days. And this is 4 liters? 4 liters, so about a gallon. And it's a little tight. But that's all my food, all my snacks, except for my beans. So I'm gonna set this downstairs, I believe, and figure out what the next step is. Alright, so I'm back downstairs and pulled up my chair. I was thinking about how big it is. So now I'm 50-50 because my hard and fast rule is always bring a chair because I'd rather be comfy in my chair than comfy anywhere else. But with how minimal I'm trying to keep my gear, I'm trying to decide if that's what I actually want to do. But I went ahead, I got my French press, and I always take an actual mug. This is probably the cheapest mug you can find nowadays. It's like whatever the cheapest one at Walmart was. It's very similar to the mugs that I have. That's my go-to. And then you never leave without a first aid kit. This is my first aid kit. It's pretty intensive. It's got anything from packing gauze and tourniquets to Band-Aids and ibuprofen for whatever goes down. I also got things like caffeine gum, an emergency blanket, whatever you need in here. Because if the situation gets real dire, I'd rather just get out, go home, and be safe. So this is what I need to get that done. And with my current gear layout, I'm trying to decide if I actually do want to bring my chair or not, because I am taking my hammock so I can sit in my hammock. Plus, I am also I can also bring a sit pad instead, because I have one of those. I got this one. I have no idea where I got it. It's just like an inch of foam. Just makes sitting a little more softer. I might leave this too. So I'm going to be bold. And I'm going to bring just my hammock this time. And we'll see how that goes. That's new for me, because my chair usually never leaves the house without me. Or I never leave the house without my chair. In fact, I keep it in my car generally, because I use it that often. Okay, so I got everything packed up in this 28-liter bag, and originally the plan was going to be to go with that because I wanted to bring a small bag and stick with that challenge a little bit, but got everything loaded up, and the only problem was I could either take water or my camera gear. So I'm going to upsize my bag so I can bring both of them, because I want to have water and I'm bringing my camera. And it'll just give me a little extra breathing room. So one other thing I'm going to change, I'm going to leave this at home. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring my hatchet and my saw. But other than that, I think everything's pretty much ready. I got my food packed. Gotta move everything over. Alright, so this bag, same capacity, just different shapes. So maybe we're gonna see if that'll help at all. Because I know I might be able to strap the tripod along the back. I'm gonna load all my crap into it. Alright, so the plans have changed slightly. It's the next day and I checked the weather, and it's supposed to get down to 30 degrees tonight, and I'm going to a higher elevation than where that weather's going to be, so it's going to be probably colder than that. Plus it's raining, and it was supposed to stop, but that's also changed. So I'm swapping out the trusty old 50-degree bag for my 10-degree, which also is going to help fill up just a little bit more space. I'm taking up, this one's 55 liters. I went through all the bags and tried to find one that would fit the best with all of my crap. Hopefully this is it. And I just gotta throw all my crap in here now. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It didn't fit, so we're switching again to a bigger bag. Alright, so I got all packed, threw my tripod on top, and I should be good to go, I believe. Okay, so I got my final pack weight with water plus food plus all my crap and my trekking poles and camera gear. It is 49.7 pounds, which is definitely not lightweight, but it's gonna be cold tonight, so I got a little extra stuff. And I can't filter water or anything up there because I don't think there will be water up there. So I have to pack all my water in. So I got 4 liters of water I'm bringing.